Today's video comes from our first summer with our 2015 Tesla Model S 85D back in August of 2019, nearly 2 years ago, when we had only had our Tesla for 3 months. I hadn't yet purchased Teslafy, so I don't have detailed statistics about the trip, but I did have an inkling that I wanted to make a YouTube video about the trip to show people that a trip into remote areas can be done in an electric vehicle. So I took pictures of the screens to document some vehicle details during our adventure. The sketchy part about this trip is we went to the Fremont Lake Campground near Pinedale, Wyoming, which is a campground with no electrical hookups, and the closest Supercharger is 108 miles away in Rock Springs, Wyoming. First off, we assembled all our gear to show in one place how much stuff can fit in a Model S. The girls didn't get to ride in the frunk, even though they wanted to. We also didn't let them ride on the road with their heads sticking out of the sunroof, even though they begged, because we're no fun apparently. After loading up all our stuff into the car, this is how well it fit in the trunk as well as in the frunk. Lucy is being so helpful. She's taking out the kids' bags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even my bag. 3 bags.
Yeah. Thank you, Lucy.
Yeah.
Here's all of our things that we're taking on our trip, including the girls. Here's everything loaded up. I tried to keep this area empty and the top portion so that when I'm driving, I found that this top portion right here and then these 2 openings on either side are helpful to be able to see out the back if possible. And you can see I achieved that. Even though things stick out a little bit, and I tried it already and it closes just fine. And here's what we have in the front. We have the mobile charge cable, and just in case, but we probably won't need it. And then towels and diapers and some other odds and ends. And same thing, it squishes down a little bit, so it closes just fine. It's almost to 100%, but not quite. It's estimated 259, and it should be about 262 to be fully charged. But we're just going to go now because we have enough. We also put some things on the floor below the girls' feet, but I didn't get a picture of that. Camping trips always require more stuff due to the tent, sleeping bags, cooking supplies, and the like, and it all fit just fine. I charged the car up to 100%. As you can see, I still used miles instead of percent back then. I prefer percent now. Our car had about 259 miles of rated range at that time, which is always a little less when traveling at high speeds. So we were a little concerned about our ability to drive 216 miles round trip from the Rock Springs, Wyoming Supercharger to the Fremont Lake and back. The in-car navigation doesn't account for round trips or waypoints, so it basically told us to charge at the Evanston, Wyoming Supercharger and go straight to Fremont Lake, 167 miles away. Since the distance from Rock Springs Supercharger was 59 miles shorter, I manually routed us there to give us the ability to drive round trip without charging at our destination. As backup, I looked up destination chargers in Pinedale, Wyoming, and found just one there, according to Tesla. But PlugShare also had one other slower 8 kilowatt option listed. We then got on the road, and the girls were stoked for the adventure. Are you girls so ready for this camping trip?
Yes! Yes!
Where are we going?
We're going on a camping trip, and it's called Cousins Camp Out.
Yeah? A family reunion at Fremont Lake, huh?
Yeah.
Did you guys see the windmills?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about them? Do you think they look cool?
Yeah. I can't see the bottom of it, but it's spinning. It's really hard. Look.
Oh yeah. Are you having a good trip so far?
Yeah.
You too?
We didn't get on the road until mid-afternoon, and it was 97 degrees Fahrenheit or 36 degrees Celsius, so it was rather hot, but luckily the AC didn't affect the range much. The in-car navigation estimated our arrival percentage at the Evanston Supercharger would be 46%, and it dipped down to 42%, but we actually arrived at 46%. We only charged for 13 minutes before continuing on to Rock Springs. The views are beautiful, and we hit a little rain, but not enough to get the roads very wet. We arrived at the Rock Springs, Wyoming Supercharger with 19% state of charge, or 49 rated miles remaining. Our average energy consumption over the prior 30 miles was 355 watt-hours per mile, which is pretty normal. Our supercharging speeds peaked at 124 kilowatts. Knowing we would need to fully charge our battery here, and it being 5:30 p.m., we decided to head to the nearby Applebee's for dinner after we had explored the giant red sumo wrestler nearby. By the time we finished dinner and headed back to the car, it had charged up to 242 miles of rated range, or 93% battery state of charge. And it was now 6:48 p.m., or 1 hour and 15 minutes later. Charging speeds really slow down at these higher percentages, so even though it would have been nice to be fully charged, I decided to continue on and just get some extra electricity at the destination charger in Pinedale, rather than continue to wait and get to our campsite even later. We saw beautiful views of rural Wyoming as the sun set on our drive to the campground. We arrived at Fremont Lake at 8:39 p.m. with 43% or 109 rated miles remaining on the battery. Remember, it was 108 miles to Rock Springs to the Supercharger there. On the way from there, I had put the car in chill mode and range mode, and we were getting 306 watt-hours per mile. So in theory, it might be possible if we drove slowly enough. However, we were going to be there for a couple of days, and there's always a little bit of standby energy loss. So at some point, I was planning to have to go into town to charge a little bit at the destination charger there. For the next couple of days, we had fun playing in the sand off the shore, boating, and playing with the cousins. The water was super cold, but that didn't stop some of us from playing in the water.
Hi, Mom. There's a hole like this.
Girls, are we on a boat ride?
Yeah.
Yeah! During a break in activities, I drove the 7.2 miles into Pinedale, Wyoming to the destination charger to charge up enough to be able to get back to the Rock Springs Supercharger. Happily, the charger worked, but unfortunately the charge speed was only 9.6 kilowatts instead of the 16 kilowatts advertised. After 2 hours of charging, I gained 60 miles of range, leaving at 155 miles of rated range. This would be able to get us the 108 miles back to the Rock Springs Supercharger. Out of curiosity, I routed us to the Evanston, Wyoming Supercharger, and it showed we could arrive there with 4%, which is too close for comfort, but I could come back and charge some more before it's time to head home. So leaving at 59%, I picked up some things in town before heading back to our campground. During another break in activities, I drove back to the Wind River Brewing destination charger, using up 3% of the battery, or 5 miles of rated range to get there. While the car was charging, I explored the main road in Pinedale, then got caught in a downpour at the bike shop. After nearly 3 hours, the car calculated it could get to Evanston at 13%. So with 79% or 205 miles of rated range in the battery, I headed back to our wet campsite. In fact, it rained a lot on this trip, which degraded the cleanliness of our car somewhat. But that's perfectly fine to me because the way I see it, a car is just there to enable our fun adventures and making great memories. Girls, did you sleep well last night?
Yeah.
Good. We're currently on Fremont Lake in Wyoming. Did you put your toe in the water?
Yeah.
And was it really, really, really cold?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Hey Lucy, where are we?
We're at Fremont Lake.
Yeah, Clara is underneath the towel asleep. Lucy, how did you sleep last night?
Good.
Did you sleep a long time?
Yeah.
Go, Lydia, go! Whoa, it's way over here. On the fourth day of our trip, after 3 nights of camping, we were ready to go home and get some much-needed rest and relaxation in the car on the way home. When I routed us to the Evanston Supercharger, it had us arriving at 5%. We had plenty of time, so rather than going to the Rock Springs Supercharger, we just went back to the destination charger as a family and had fun in a playground in the area while the car charged. Here we go. We have Lucy on one side, and Mom is spinning us, and then we have Lydia on this side, and then on this side we have Clara and Dad. What did you find, girls? Lydia, are you driving?
Yeah.
After an hour, the car had charged up to 77% and was estimating arriving at the Evanston Supercharger at 11%, which was 159 miles away, and we had 200 miles of rated range, so we unplugged and got on the road. We could have just gone to the Rock Springs Supercharger, which is closer, but the overall trip length would have been about an hour longer because we would have then had to go over to Evanston, Wyoming. So I decided if we're going to have to spend an extra hour charging or driving, either way, I'd rather just have fun playing in the park with my kids and less time in the car. Midway through the drive, we were running a bit lean on the estimated arrival percentage, so I had to slow down about 10 miles per hour below the speed limit for the last couple of miles, and we ended up arriving at 4%, which is 11 miles of rated range. We were getting 328 watt-hours per mile, which isn't very bad, so I'm not sure why the estimated arrival percentage was so far off when we initially left, because it's usually more accurate than that. The glorious speed of 127 kilowatts cannot be overstated after where we just came from. Long-distance road trips in an electric vehicle certainly would not be possible without a fast, reliable supercharger network. We ended up being there longer than we needed to because we were playing in the area and figured we'd just get some extra free energy. After 42 minutes of charging, the estimated arrival percentage at home was 33%, and we had 69% charge, or 180 miles of rated range on the battery. We unplugged and headed home, arriving with 27% state of charge. We were happy to be able to go on the trip in our Tesla, but if there hadn't been any other charging options, we would have had to rent a gasoline car to go to this location. Happily, we were able to make it work. I hope this has been helpful, seeing what is possible, and I'll see you in the next video. Camping! Are you having so much fun?
Yeah.